Today's mug moment is from Matthew 15:10 through 12. Jesus called the crowd to him and said, "Listen and understand. What goes into a man's mouth does not make him unclean, but what comes out of his mouth, that is what makes him unclean." Then the disciples came to him and asked, "Do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this?" Jesus is here treating us with just a little bit of common sense. I can understand somewhat the feelings of the Pharisees. They may have complained that Jesus was breaking the law of eating unclean food. Jesus was preparing his followers for something that was going to be even more difficult for them. Soon, Gentiles would become part of God's family, and their food would be considered clean. This would be a very critical development for the Jew, but for us, we have no problem eating food that was considered unclean to the Jews. When is the last time you went out for dinner and ordered catfish? I love deep-fried catfish. Well, enough said on that, but Jesus is speaking of something even more important. In a few days, you will be hearing about Jesus feeding the 4,000 with 7 loaves and a few small fish. They were in a remote place and were unable to get to the nearest Long John Silver's. I wonder how in that remote place, how many do you suppose washed their hands before they ate the loaves and fish? According to the Jewish teachers of the law, these Jews were acting against God's will for them. Good rules are important. We have just gone through a period where we were told to wash our hands many times a day. My hands got so chapped they were sore. That may have been a good thing, but it really doesn't have much to do with our worship of God. We must understand that works do not save. Faith in Christ is all that counts. You have a good day and go in Christ.